wasn't allowed to listen to Michael Jackson growing up. I wasn't allowed to watch shows like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air growing up because my family was racist. I just saw a girl do a video on all the things that she couldn't watch growing up, and she's younger than me, which means that that stuff is still happening right now.
Man.
And it's just sad
Because
I didn't realize any of that stuff was racist until I started playing football and, going to college, and then I joined up with the Army. And then during that time, I realized that everything that my family told me about black people specifically were lies.
There is some other crazy shit that my racist dad said when I was growing up. 100%. He told me, I think in high school, if I ever brought a black man home as a potential romantic partner, that he would be disappointed. He didn't say, don't do that, but he was like, that would be really disappointing to me. When Obama won the presidency, I remember, I was literally in middle school. I was 12 or 13. And I used to hate being in the car with my dad because we were trapped, right? We were just trapped and we couldn't get away. And he would really utilize his time in the car with us to lecture and spew this hate.
Indoctrinate them.
And I remember he was always so pissed that Barack Obama's middle name is Hussein. And I remember him being like, Ali, his middle name is Hussein. And I was like,
I don't care.
Okay, I don't know what that...
you're a kid, bro.
He was always expecting us to be as, outraged as him, but, we genuinely, didn't understand. I remember one time, my neighbor was a black girl. Her name was Felicia. She was hella sweet. She would come over and be like, hey, can Allie come out to play, da-da-da-da-da. And I remember one time she had a sty in her eye, and, my dad saw it and was like, you shouldn't go in her house. She's dirty. She has... Yeah. Do you see that she has that? Don't touch any of her stuff, and, you shouldn't go in the house.
Little kid.
Trigger warning. This is where it gets kind of, really bad. Really bad. My dad didn't think he was racist, right? Because he had,
it's
a black friend.
Oh, man, the black friend.
And he used to say to me and my brother, there is a difference between black people and...
So white people are finally admitting what we already knew, and it's worse than you think. Right now, there is a wave of white creators online confessing their white fatigue, talking about the racism they grew up with, the things their parents said behind closed doors, and even the fact that some of them shared bath water with their siblings. I'm not making this up. And while they're finally calling out the BS in their own communities, it's exposing something deeper. The performance, the cycle, and the fact that for us, black folks, African diaspora, we've been navigating this minefield our whole lives, never knowing who's real and who's putting on a show. But here's what nobody's talking about. Why does it take white people validating our experiences for other white people to believe us? And what does it mean when the people calling themselves not racist can't even teach their kids to wash properly? I want you guys to sit down and relax, because we're about to unpack some generational racism, performative, allyship, and why some folks think being clean is just a black thing. So let us get into it. I got a couple of clips. I want you to watch them to the very end, and then I'll be back to discuss everything with you guys.
Women are a danger, okay? They will compliment you to your face and then call the cops on you behind your back. They are disingenuous, and it is performative. I will tell you, as a white woman who has been around white women my entire life, that little white girls and little white teenagers and young white women and middle-aged and old women, things that they say to non-white people are not the same things that they're saying in an all-white room. White women don't want to see their ex dating someone who's not white. They don't want to see someone who's not white take their job spot. They don't want to see someone who's not white have a better car or a better house or a better outfit, okay? And when they get mad at someone who's not white, they're going to bring race into it. They're going to say really nasty racist things, regardless if it's to your face or behind your back, even if it has absolutely nothing to do with race. They are going to start saying some really wicked things, because white women are a danger. They are a danger to minority communities.
Discourse talking about how white people don't know how to wash themselves is really fascinating to me, and so I want to share my experience about how I actually learned how to wash and what it looked like in my white supremacist Mormon household growing up. Now, I always had washcloths available to me. They were always under the sink. It wasn't really enforced or taught. It was always in the bathtub. And it seemed like there was just kind of like one in there, and then we'd change it every week. I was never touching it. I don't know if my siblings were touching it.
One every week? You're talking about for your face and your body? One a week? That's wicked. You know what I'm saying, y'all? But these motherfuckers love calling us uncivilized and you know, like...
I know when we were younger, we'd play with it in the tub, but when it comes to washing... The grossest thing that still grosses me out to this day thinking about it is how we would share bath water. I had 4 siblings. We'd all share bath water. When we were younger, it was either like 2 and 2 would go, or like after we'd each go in this person's bath water. The grossest thing was my older sister. We're 22 months apart. She sometimes would shower with my younger sister. And when she was like 9 or 10 years old, our youngest sister came to us and told us that, hey, there's yellow stuff in the bathwater.
Oh my God.
And my older sister tooted. And we're like, what? We ended up getting out of my older sister that she was peeing in the bathwater. Now, mind you, me and her are 22 months apart. We shared bathwater my entire childhood.
Yo, this is disgusting.
I always thought we were clean until 2005 when I moved to Atlanta. White people don't talk about cleanliness. White people don't talk about cleaning themselves. White people don't talk about lotion. White people don't talk about their hair nearly to the scale that the black community does. I went there and I was dumbfounded by how much they held each other accountable to their appearances. Nails, hair, everything pristine all the time. And my mom, I felt like, was very much like that growing up. But it felt like this was like up like 10 notches. So that's kind of where I learned most of the things you should be doing, like moisturizing after you shower. I learned that in Atlanta.
They're normal human beings, sometimes extraordinary human beings. And I mean, for some of the people that I was with in the Army, to be in the Army, they could have done anything. They were so talented. I was like, I knew why I was in the Army. I failed at football, so I joined up with the Army, but they were just such great human beings. And I feel like growing up, I missed a lot of that. I'm sorry that anybody that had to go through life like this.
There's a difference between black people and black people. Dress nicely, speak white, basically. Hey, stop. Have good jobs, are educated. Those are black people. I'm fine with black people.
Yeah, those
are thugs and
ghetto hoodlums.
And would rob you and would you,
even though they lead in it.
And that whole like super predator bullshit, like these people are on drugs, they're dirty. Like that's the difference. We can be friends with black people, but like basically they're not even people. Like there was a very clear distinction in his mind, and he wasn't racist because he was friends with black people. He used to ask me from a very young age if I was a Democrat or Republican.
Bro, you're a kid.
The correct answer is Republican. And he would ask me that all the time growing up. Like when I was like 10, 11, he'd be like, you're a Republican, right, Allie? And I'd be like,
I don't
know.
Like,
I don't know what that means.
Right.
Like, but it was this super early indoctrination. And then specifically, I remember, this was when I was in high school, at the Thanksgiving dinner table, he called people in the Middle East sand.
Hey, that's what they call Myron. That's what they call Myron.
And like, I was like, Dad.
Like, why?
That is so messed up. Like, what are you saying right now? Like, that, do not say that. Like, what is wrong with you? And he was like, what? They are.
Sad,
it was just like,
sad, bro.
It was bad. It was really bad.
What's cool, family? Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, my name is Rick, and this is where we talk about the real African diaspora realities, culture clash, identity, and all the uncomfortable truths nobody else wants to touch or talk about. Today, we need to talk about something that's been blowing up online. White creators coming forward with what they are calling white fatigue. And before you roll your eyes, I want you to hear me out, because what they are exposing is a masterclass in everything we've been saying for years, like centuries. The racism that's taught at the dinner table, the performance in public, the generational brainwashing, and somehow, bizarrely, the fact that some folks think sharing bath water is normal. I'm not playing. We're going there today. So let me set the stage. Over the past few months, there's been this trend, white women mostly, going online and sharing their experiences growing up in racist households. And I mean detailed. We're talking about parents who banned Michael Jackson in the house. Parents who said they'd be disappointed if their daughter dated a black man. Parents who literally used car rides to lecture their kids on why those people are different. One woman, and this shook me, talked about growing up in a white supremacist Mormon household where they share bath water. 4 siblings, same tub, same dirty water, one after the other, and sometimes one of them will be in it. That's disgusting. No, I bring this up not because it's wild, but because it connects something deeper. This is the same community that is historically called us. Yes, as African people, uncivilized. They call us dirty, they call us thugs and hood rats, but they couldn't even teach their own kids basic hygiene. And here's the thing, guys. The woman who said she didn't even realize her upbringing was filthy until she moved to Atlanta in 2005 and saw how black community held each other accountable. Hair done, nails done, skin moisturized. Yeah, we talk about cleanliness. We talk about lotion. We talk about self-care, because for us, it's survival, it's dignity, and it is pride. But for a long time, that same pride was weaponized against us. We were called too much or materialistic for caring about how we looked. Meanwhile, some folks literally weren't washing their legs in the shower. Now, let's get into the meat of this. These confessions are revealing 3 massive truths that the diaspora has been screaming about forever. Number 1, hate is always taught. If you put a white kid and a black kid in a room, they're going to play, they're going to laugh, they're going to be friends, because kids don't see color until their parents teach them to. And that's the cycle. Parents teach the kids. Kids grow up, they become parents, they teach their kids. And the hate, it thrives generation after generation. One creator even shared how her dad will use every car ride to spew racist rhetoric. Another said her family would let her watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because it was black propaganda. Think about that. A wholesome sitcom about a black family was too much for them. And here's the tragic part. A lot of these white folks don't even realize they were brainwashed until they leave their homes. They go to college, they join the army, they enter the real world, and suddenly they're like, oh wait, my parents were racist. But by then, the damage is already done, because when we call it out, when black people say that's racist, they've been conditioned to respond with it. Stop playing the victim. Number 2, performative allyship is everywhere. One of the white women in this video said something that hit hard. She said, what white women say to your face is not what they say in all white room. Performative, disingenuous, dangerous. Yeah, she broke it down. White women will compliment you, smile at you, ask about your hair, and then call the cops on you the next day. Or worse, when they get mad at you for something completely unrelated, they'll bring race into it. They'll say the nastiest, most racist things, because deep down, that's what they've been holding back. And this is what makes it so exhausting for us. We can never fully relax I'll be in the grocery store having a pleasant conversation with a white neighbor, and in the back of my mind, there is always that question: is this real? Or is she performing? That's the mental tax of racism. It's not just that overt stuff. It's that constant uncertainty, the second guessing, the hypervigilance. Number 3, the good black person myth is alive and well. Here is one of the most insidious things these creators exposed. The way their racist parents will distinguish between black people and the N-word. Oh, we're not racist. We have black friends. We like the good ones, the ones who dress nice, speak proper, have good jobs. But those other ones, the thugs, the ghetto, the hoodlums, those ain't even people. This is a textbook racism, creating a hierarchy, rewarding assimilation, punishing authenticity. And what kills me is how some black folks fall for it. They are not like other black people proud. The ones who seek the validation, that ego stroke of being told you are one of the good ones. But here's the reality. You will never be good enough for people to see who your blackness as something to overcome. Let me get personal for a second. Growing up in the diaspora, you learn to code switch early. You learn to read rooms, you learn when to be professional and when to be yourself, because you know that your blackness is always on trial. And the painful part, guys, even when you do everything right, when you speak properly, when you dress appropriately, when you succeed by every metric, there will still be people who see you as a threat, who resent your success, who wish you just stay in your lane. I've seen it in corporate spaces, I've seen it in social spaces. Hell, yeah, I've seen it in so-called progressive spaces where people claim to be allies but they can't handle it when you challenge them, right? And that is why these confessions matter, because they are confirmation. They are white people finally admitting what we've known all along. The racism is not just coming from MAGA hat wearing stereotypes. It is coming from your coworker who smiles at you in the break room. It is coming from your neighbor who waves at you every morning. It is coming from people who will swear up and down they are not racist. But here's what really gets me about all of this. Why does it take white people saying it for other white people to believe it? We've been talking about this forever. We've shared our experiences, we've written books, we've made documentaries, we've protested, we've educated, we've code switched, guys, we've assimilated, we've accommodated, and still the response was, you're exaggerating, you're playing the race card, not all white people. But now that white creators are sharing their stories, suddenly it is eye-opening and brave and important. That double standard, that's racism too. And it exposes the fundamental problem. Our experiences are only valid when they are validated by whiteness. Our pain is only real when white people confirm it. That's exhausting. That's humanizing. That's what white fatigue should actually mean. Us being fatigued by white supremacy, not white people being tired of confronting their own complicity. So where do we go from here, guys? To my black family, my African diaspora community, keep telling your truth. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for validation. Your experiences are real, whether white people acknowledge them or not. Number 2, document everything. These confessions are important because they are evidence. They are proof that we are not crazy. We've never been crazy. That we are not imagining things. That gaslighting we've endured has been real. Number 3, protect your space. You don't owe anyone your emotional labor. You don't have to educate every person who just wants to understand. You don't have to give people the benefit of the doubt when they've shown you who they are. And finally, to the white folks watching this who are genuinely trying to do better, the work doesn't stop at confession. Calling out your racist uncle at Thanksgiving is a start, but it is not enough. You need to actively dismantle the systems that your community built and benefits from. Teach your kids to wash themselves. Teach them that black people are human. Teach them that our culture is not a costume. Teach them that performative allyship is violence. Because at the end of the day, we are all tired. But some of us don't get to opt out of this fight. That's for it for today, family. Drop a comment and let me know your thoughts down below. Have you ever experienced this kind of performative behavior? How do you navigate predominantly white spaces? Let's build it in the comments. If this resonated with you, then I'll ask you kindly to smash that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, I am Derek, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong, stay proud, stay clean, and protect your peace.